Welcome to On Cooldown, the weekly WoW news show right here on Marcelian&Online. In today's episode, we'll talk about the new Season 3 Mythic plus AFFIX and how mechagon has a hard mode in WoW. The new Azerite traits from Azshara's Palace are out, and I am talking about the raid specific ones. A quick update on some essences, for those of you who checked our essence guide video, and hunters can tame more giant dinosaurs. Wow, I mean, will they make their own park? It's the best joke ever. It's Friday and it's on cooldown time, where we take our news very seriously. I welcome you to sit down, relax, and watch me show you the news with some cool editing. On with the show! Our main man, Ion Hazzikostas, has been in another Forbes interview where he talked about things. But what stood out was the new Season 3 AFFIX that we will have in 8.2 because, well, we didn't know what will be replacing Reaping until now. The new AFFIX is called Beguiling, and of course it will be Azshara themed. Well, around her anyway. This AFFIX represents the minions of Azshara and how they can appear in random, or maybe not so random, packs in a dungeon. There are 3 types of Azshara ads called Handmaidens. Ion mentioned these Handmaidens will appear in different combinations in a variety of pools. One of them has Shadow Power, one Arcane, and one is Frosty? There weren't a lot of details being given about how this would work, probably because the details are still in the works and the AFFIX isn't even on the PTR as of this recording. However, talks have been had before about how the devs don't like it that we found so many creative ways to skip trash. And we can see that in the forms of mobs that can detect stealth, paths that can no longer be taken. A few weeks ago, we also found out that the devs don't really think there's too much trash going around, but rather the pacing of it sucks. Such as how you can get the majority of the percentage in Motherlode done before even reaching the first boss. The fact that with this new AFFIX they can change where the Handmaidens spawn, devs can force us to fight packs we weren't fighting before. And Ion did actually mention that. I think this is fine. A run presenting us with choices hard to make is okay as long as the increase in effort is worth it. It's the same argument with certain AFFIXs being too difficult for certain dungeons, with no incentive to actually clear dungeons such as King's Rest with Teeming and Fortified, or Shrine of the Storm with Tyrannical. And speaking of dungeons, we just discovered there's an actual hard mode to mechagon that turns the 4th boss into a harder version of himself. The way you do this is by pulling and defeating the first 3 bosses in a specific order. Ion talked about this in the interview and related it to the Nightbane in Karazhan. By going through a specific mechanic, you can unlock something extra difficult. Nightbane awarded us with a guaranteed drop of a cool mount. Ion mentioned and hinted at some potential rewards for the hard mode, but nothing official yet. Clearly they will add something, and I am curious to what that can be. He did talk about how the dungeon acts as a mini raid with no levels of gear scaling, meaning it will be unlikely to see it as a Mythic plus. They want Operation Mechagon to be the sort of stepping stone for guilds aiming at Mythic progression, or players who cannot raid more than Heroic but still would like a challenge. The gear will be on par with the normal difficulty of the Azshara raid, with certain drops being a bit higher than that, and with another tier above that for other specific items. What does this mean? Is he referring to the hard mode version that can drop better gear? Will there be objectives and quests that can provide better rewards? Are you excited yet? Another thing Ion mentioned in the interview are some details about flying unlock. Season 3 will not be available on day 1 of 8.2, but they don't want us to wait as long as we did in 8.1 either. However, all the proper rep grinds and achievements are there if you want to start unlocking flying from day 1. With this in mind, Ian hinted that it will be very difficult to actually get flying before the raid without serious logging in and completing every single world quest and daily quest available. Does that mean the grind is super long? Or maybe the downtime before Season 3 is too short for us to get flying before the raid? Speaking of the new raid, new data mined information about the gear is out, and we have the new Azurite traits that pertain to the new raid. Yep, not class or spec traits, but new traits similar to Treacherous Covenants in the Zara lore. Loyalty to the End is one of these new traits where you get a flat boost to mastery plus an additional amount stacking with the number of allies also rocking this trait that are near you. When one of you dies, the other allies gains crit, haste and verse equal to the amount of mastery the trait already gives them. Interesting mechanic. If the boost is significant enough, it might promote certain martyr-like strategies. This one looks like the DPS variant of the traits, and of course we have the tank one that gives us a bit of damage but a much bigger shield when you drop below 50% HP. The third trait is Arcane Heart, that seemingly works for healers and DPS alike, but who knows what implementations we will have with it. All in all, I was hoping we would get at least one new trait per spec, which is definitely not out of the question, but doubtful considering we are getting essences as well. If you haven't checked it yet, or you are new to our channel, we recently made a guide on all the essences available in 8.2, and as I suspected, they are still being changed in terms of effects and obtainability. Although the changes are small enough that they don't invalidate our video, we will skim through them together anyway. The Conflict and Strife is probably one that has seen and will see the most major changes. This simply provides you with an extra PvP talent that's set in stone depending on your spec. Initially, it seemed to affect PvP only, but Ian confirmed the talent will be working in raids and dungeons. Unless he changes his mind, this can be really cool and a refreshing addition to certain specs. Take Druids for instance. Feral and Balance are getting Thorns, which was always a baseline spell for most of the 15 years of WoW. Mages, however, are getting Temporal Shields, which I cannot even tell you how cool that is when doing solo content, and I can bet it will be amazing in Mythic Plus also. You could kinda think of this as the talent you never got by getting to 120, if that talent couldn't be changed and it replaced one of the new mechanics in 8.2, so... All you hunters rejoice, because there's this sick theme going around that hunters can tame anything that moves and doesn't provide a quest. Big creatures, specifically dinosaurs. It was amazing when hunters were able to tame Thok from Siege of Orgrimmar, and now you get 2 more big ass dinos that you can tame. One of which is Horadon, the second boss of Throne of Thunder. Since this guy is a dire horn, all hunter specs can tame him and use him in battle, but you still need the ancient Zandalari knowledge tome that drops from Isle of Giants. Unless you're already a Zandalari troll, which you are, aren't you? Everyone is these days. And speaking of the Isle of Giants, the second tameable one is only available to Beastmasters because it's Undasta, the big baddie smack dab in the middle of the island. The currently only Devil Sword to rock Zandalari armor. This looks cool as shit. Look at it, it's cute and frightening at the same time with its ridiculously sized headpiece. Catching this guy on live, though, might be an issue since people are still farming the island, but hey, it's worth it, right? Wish it was a mount though. And lastly, a few words about the former president and current Blizzard president. Good guy Mike Morhaime stepped down, allegedly, from his position as CEO of Blizzard Entertainment after 27 years of rocking awesome games. He will be at Game Lab Barcelona to receive the 2019 Honor Award on June the 27th. If you have been following our channel, you know we are big fans of Mike and couldn't be happier for him to receive this reward. Mike, you are a pioneer of gaming and we will always appreciate what you did for gamers around the world. Next up, the apple that fell from the tree but not yet sure as to how far. I kid, J. Allen Brack. We here at MarcelianOnline want to work towards a future where we can collaborate with Blizzard.
Oh, and by the way, you don't want that. You think you want to trash talk Jay, but you actually don't. You think you do, no, but you don't.
J. Allen Brack also did an interview about the general state of WoW and Blizzard, and I won't bore you with the very corporate answers he gave, except with a few that I selected for my personal benefit. Jay still sees, and we can infer that Blizzard sees as well, that WoW Classic is a part of the Warcraft pillar at Blizzard, which, if it's true or only publicly stated, could be good. Classic has grown in popularity on YouTube and Twitch and surprised a lot of people, myself included, since I never thought I would take it seriously apart from a few runs of Wailing Caverns. Hopefully, the fact that Classic has a different RPG model called an actual MMORPG might incentivize Blizzard to change current WoW and improve it with things like social interaction. Jay also mentioned his fondest memories playing the game were when he killed Ragnaros in Vanilla and Kael'thas in TBC. Which is funny, because back then we had no LFG, LFR and eye level boosting from season to season, yet still, players, and more importantly the people making the game today, cherish those moments above all. All I'm hoping for is that the good things of Classic can rub off on live WoW and make it a better game for everyone. How about you? 8.2 is just around the corner and you have to brush up on your essences basics with our newest guide, right here. Massive thanks to our patrons who continuously support month after month Marcelian&Online and our ongoing campaign of saving battle pets by not doing any battle with pets. And if you want to become a patron as well, links are down below. Also, can you just picture yourself with some Marcelian&Online merch? Come on, don't be shy, I know you can. Check our official Teespring link and get your t-shirt, tank top, hoodie and mug today. Sell out. Thanks for watching the video and have a nice weekend.